43.
42. 41.
40.
39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30. 29.
28. 27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10. 9. 8.
7.
6.
5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Good evening and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty, fresh take on politics. I'm your host, John Schmitz. We are in year number 4 or 5. I don't know how you count that, but we've been around for a while, and we're going to stick around for a while. We got a good show for you tonight. We have some folks down from Evansville. We have Ken Colbert and Cheryl Battinger Smith coming on, and they are Republicans in bad standing. And I can't remember why they got booted out, but they got booted out for some reason. So we'll ask them. I'll get them on here in a second. We'll ask them what happened there. But boy, I tell you, I got Johnny Trouble down there because I've been making trouble. That's what I make trouble. And I'll tell you, a lot of folks are mad about this property tax and nothing that happened with it. And it just keeps getting worse. Now they want to do some more taxes on toll roads, and it's tax. So, and I'm a little tired of paying a lot of tax too, because I'm an employer, and I pay a lot of taxes for my own employees, and I pay a lot of sales tax, and I pay a lot of this and that tax. We pay excise tax. We pay just too many taxes, people. I want to see some cutting. I want to run a campaign and get a giant pair of scissors and cut the budgets. But there's a lot of folks that are not happy with the two-party system. And you hear the I word, the dreadful I word, independent. You hear about groups being formed. I know of several groups that are being formed into one big group that is probably going to be a little bit of an issue for anybody that's an incumbent. I know these folks that are doing these things and that are getting together, and they are legit. They're legit. They do the work. They have the funding, and we're going to see what happens. But I think they'll probably make a difference in what's going on. Now, if you're following what's going on just on everything, although, hold on, I want to give you the Pacers score. I know people are probably watching this Pacer game, but it's 83-71. The Pacers are winning in the third quarter. Yeah, that's good. So we'll probably catch a few more viewers as the Pacer game winds up here. But I'm going to go ahead and bring on Ken and Cheryl, and let's see here. Hey, how's it going, folks? How's it going? Oh, look, let me get you like this. That's better.
Oh, there we go.
That's better. So tell me how you got to be Republicans in bed standing right now. Well, hold on. Let's back up 1 second. First of all, Ken, tell me your name and just a little bit about yourself, and Cheryl, the same thing. I just got too ahead of myself.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Ken Colbert here.
Cheryl Battinger Smith here.
And we are Republicans in bad standing. So,
yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, there we go.
So tell me how you got to be Republicans in bad standing.
Well,
for one thing, I was a proponent of right to life, and Roe v. Wade was turned over after the primary. And so the girl that I was going to run against, I knew was not, going to be all that pro-life, though it turned out that they gave her the bill to carry. Funny about that. But anyway, so I came out and I ran as an independent, even though I have voted nothing but Republican my whole life, but I didn't realize it was going to slice my throat when I did that, because later they used that to get rid of me because I was holding her accountable. And anyway, they gave Wendy McNamara the bill to carry, which was totally out of context of what she normally does. So I know I scared her. And she was actually married to my cousin, so it's not that I didn't know who she was. So that's how I got kicked out.
Right. And mine's a little bit different too. You know, obviously we were involved in the PC project. We got all these people to run in the county, and I won, you know, that, and also as a state delegate, but we also were very critical of the people within the Republican Party. And we were calling them out. And unfortunately, the hatchet woman involved with this is, well, the representative involved was Vanetta Becker. She's the one that said that we were too critical of her. So therefore, they used that as a basis to say, we don't want you anymore, and then threw us out of the party because of being critical.
Really, it's because we were recruiting all these PCs to take the chairmanship out.
Well,
and so they went back in their archives and picked up what they thought they could get us kicked out by. So really, the 8th District worked right along with them.
Right.
Yeah,
Our chairman didn't have to say a word. It was just the attorney for our state of Indiana Republican Party and the 8th District, Brenda Goff.
Right. There was the catalysts that had done that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still being very vocal. We have a right to do that. We're exposing some of the egregious things that's happening within the Republican Party and the Democrat. I mean, we're calling them both out.
And our group is growing. The Republicans in bad standing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's become a badge of honor now. The number of people joining us.
Yeah. Well, you know, I took a page out of your book to not get kicked out by, we got PCs involved, and our motive was to strengthen the party. So, but I don't think they believed us. but it was, honestly, that's what we were trying to do. I mean, it wasn't a false pretense. It wasn't a Trojan horse. That was what we wanted to try to do. It's just that they hate us. I mean, the bottom line is they hate us, and they don't want us to help them, and that's fine because we're not going to help them. I mean,
well, we want the rule of law. That's what it is, because they're deviating from this. They've been caught several times, and so we pointed out.
Well,
that's
there's
what
two sets of rules.
Right.
You know, we have to abide by a set, and then they have to. They can do what they want to on their end. So
right.
Yeah, I do think this is. I think this is growing. I think this movement is going to be substantial. I don't know how much in the next election, but what I would say is, you know, we had Kurt Nicely, who was a good guy, and then we had John Jacob that came in. I call them the foundation of what's happened. And then we got Larissa Sweet, we got Becky Cash. We, you know, have about 4 or 5 people get elected, and I think it's just going to keep growing, you know, as it goes. And then Micah Beckwith pretty much bucked the establishment. I could not do that here in Marion County, as far as, you know, getting a let's say a new direction for the party here in Marion County, because as you know, we get beat to death here in Marion County, and they just keep wanting to do the same thing. Just saw, you know, just the
here
same
in
thing.
Vandenberg too. I think we've set the foundation, because obviously we do have a lot of the very conservative PCs in these positions now. And it's being able to use that skill set to start maybe pulling from some of this for leadership roles.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be interesting to see who they get to do their work, because they keep losing more people that did the work. You guys do a lot of work, and I'm sure you're getting paid a whole lot of money for doing these shows like I am. I just getting so rich off of. No, not getting rich. So, but,
we know it's the same amount of money. We get it.
But speaking of high paid, a panel. I mean, I'm getting ready to bring them on, and they are highly, highly paid. I don't like these tipping. Let's bring Brad on, and let's bring. Hey, wait, you guys are on the right side, right parts there. You're up there. Oh,
Lucy. All right.
Lucy, we got Lucy, and Tiffany. Don't worry, we got them all. Let's see here. Let's go. It's going to take me a second. Hey, Tiffany, you're on the wrong side. What are you doing there? Okay, let's see. Right.
I'm in the middle, John.
Yeah, I'm not on the left. There we go. That's a bit better.
I can't wait till we get
Johnny Neutral. too.
No, I'm Johnny Trouble. Johnny Neutral's gone. My attitude is poor. Let's just put it this way.
Your attitude is poor.
It's not in good standings now. It's in bad standing. My attitude. I'm just not. If I was one of the seven dwarfs, I'd be grumpy. So anyway,
you are grumpy.
Yeah, well, when you get my age, it's okay to be grumpy. I'm not apologizing for getting your name, for being late, for none of that stuff. I'm a senior citizen now. I'm a senior. I should.
How old are you, John?
I'll be 64 this September. I know. I heard it keeps getting wider and wider and less, but hey, dang it! I had a sponsor tonight, and I forgot to bring it up here. And Tiffany, it was this tallow lip balm.
Tallow is amazing.
I know it. I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The person that gave it to
what
me.
is tallow?
I think
Beef
it's
fat.
what comes out of the beef.
It's
beef
rendered
bones.
beef fat.
Okay, yeah.
Yay.
I think that's what Steak and Shake's making tallowed French fries too. I wonder if that's good for your lips. But I actually used some. Tiffany, you'd be proud of me. I was moisturized for once. So.
Oh, yay. Because that's the number one myth that they sell you people.
Yeah.
What, we don't have to moisturize?
Yes.
I get ashy, so I guess I'm out of the club.
I just ashy.
Can I ask Ken and Cheryl a question?
Yeah. Hey, we got guests on here. I'm sure they're very interested in our lip balm. But hey, go ahead, Brad. We'll start it out with you.
Everyone.
Well, I like the idea of the Republicans in bad standing. Have you thought about making it the ribs party? And then you can have some spare ribs.
Where you been? That's what we call it, the ribs.
Oh,
it is?
Thank God. Okay, I was like, I'm very happy that you are calling it that then.
So what is the ribs? What's that mean?
One time I brought some ribs on the show.
We did. We ate them, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you guys are a show. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, they are. They do a lot of stuff on Rumble. Is that correct? You have a very big following on Rumble. We've not been able to crack that. Is that the only place that you are on Rumble?
Oh, no, we're on X, heavy on X as well. We're on Telegram.
Yeah. So how do you stream to the Rumble? I mean, I have to do a code and everything. I would do that on this show, but I'm not that smart. I can't do it.
I don't know. We have a lot of followers that, want to see what we have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys keep it interesting. That's for sure.
We're always a top here in Vanderburgh County.
So how much are you hearing about property taxes? I mean, is there people that are fit to be taught? I had a picture of tarred and feathered on there, and I was looking that up, and it's like, man, they used to really do that to people. They used to tar.
That was painful. Yeah, that wasn't anything.
They used to beat slaves too, so I think everything went back then.
Okay, yeah. Well, and then they had the witches,
guillotines. I think that.
All that, yeah. It's pretty tough.
Are you saying we're soft now?
Yeah, we're very soft now. You cut somebody's hand off for shoplifting.
Oh,
no more shoplifting.
We're having the same problem down here, though, in Vanderburgh County, just like the rest of the state. We're disappointed, angry about what happened with the property tax. From our perspective, Braun, that was his platform, and he lied.
Yeah, we don't like politicians that promise something and then they don't stay with it. So
right, it was all a campaign promise. And for our situation down here in our area, we had Ledbetter, Tim O'Brien, and Wendy McNamara that thought this was a great idea. Yeah. They voted yes.
Yeah, they didn't listen to their constituents. So.
No, there were public platforms. They were very clear about what the mandates were from the taxpayers in our Southwest Indiana, and they did not listen. They were listening to the different lobbying groups, whether or not it was AIM. Okay, I mean, there's several organizations, and we were very clear about giving the necessary reform on property tax. It's not acceptable.
Did you guys expect a veto?
Yes, we thought that could have brought together not only the Republicans, but also the Democrats, because everybody was on the same page about having meaningful property tax reform, and it didn't happen.
We think he'd be a bigger man even to do it now and say, I made a mistake. Let's start over.
Well, Cheryl, it reminds me of when you talked about being pro-life in the abortion bill that was passed. I don't remember anybody testifying in favor of the bill. Like
I
I
was
feel like
sitting there all day. I was sitting there all day one day, and there was a lot of them testifying that, well, first of all, they rushed it, and they didn't need to rush it.
exactly.
But there were on both sides, and that would be doctors on both sides too. In fact, I think we finally left about 3:30. I couldn't take it any longer because it was so disgusting. But yes,
but that's like the
Wendy
second year in a
McNamara
row
lost
that they've
her
done
life.
this.
She faked it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Janet says Braun's not trustworthy. And, I thought it was pretty weak that he, when he comes out and says, oh, if I veto it, it's just going to be symbolic. No kidding.
Right.
So
So it would force the legislature to do their job because they'd have to go back into special session and literally understand that Hoosiers wanted meaningful.
Plus, they need to tie a knot.
I agree. I just think
it's not in the pro tems that keep the bills that we want from coming to the floor.
That's right.
Did you know?
Well, wait.
With them?
Did he mean it was going to be just commemorative because it was going to be overridden? I mean, like, he can veto it all he wants, but
it would be overridden. But I don't know why they couldn't have gotten behind. Could have been like championship wrestling, right? They could have thrown a couple folding chairs and a table, and then acted like they were really mad, and then we passed it anyway. But they didn't even want to go through the theatrics of veto and then override the veto. I just wonder what kind of deals were made because he had to make. Hopefully, he made a deal. If he didn't, he's dumber than I think he is. So
yeah, but they didn't even balance the budget. You think about this; they were creating this huge budget and trying to back into the deal by supporting it through the tax increases. Is what's happening. They did nothing to negate about the property tax or the budget itself on making it balanced.
All right, here's a question for Tiffany for Lucy, because I know how much she likes taxes. Now, do you think didn't you find it convenient that they come out like just shortly after all this and they come out and say, oh, guess what? We're going to have a $2 billion shortfall. Do you believe that, Lucy?
I just think that politician math is something that I didn't learn in school because we had this rainy day fund of a couple $2 billion, a few short years ago, at which time that money should have been sent back out to the citizens. I mean, the theory is if you steal too much from us, you should, give us a refund. But then all of a sudden the politician math kicked in the other way. And, oh, no, it wasn't a $2 billion rainy day fund. It's actually a $2 billion shortfall. So, if I have to control my spending, they should too.
I have a quick question. What did they attribute the $2 billion shortfall to?
Basically, the tariffs and the economy not doing what it was supposed to be doing.
Wait a minute.
I thought it was a stock market.
Go ahead, Mr. Colbert.
Okay, we believe that there's a correlation with that money laundering that happened with the IEDC. All this money was being redirected from the taxpayers to that organization. Now, remember, the legislature did this. They actually passed a law saying that we as private citizens cannot audit or see what was going on. So what does Braun do? He virtue signals now by saying, you know what? We're going to do an audit to see where this money is going. All the money was being redirected for economic development. And again, on these boards of people that are not even elected officials. We have one down here in Evansville. There's one up in the north. There's all over the state. Right. Okay. It's the same issue. That money that we had earmarked for Hoosiers was taken, and it was coordinated by the efforts by our former governor. That's what was happening. Now they believe that there's an issue with mental health. So now they're redirecting a lot of the funds for that as well. Why did we go from having a surplus to now having a deficit?
Yeah, I love fired up people.
Yeah,
it's all natural too. Okay? It's all natural.
Yeah, no.
But I will tell you, it's Ken, right?
Yes.
I love the story that you're telling. I just know that when keep telling your story, keep the emotion down, because once you get fired up, people stop listening. That would be my one coaching.
Well, I disagree. We have thousands of followers on our social.
Oh, no. You've got your followers, but I mean like decision makers,
right?
Folks like that. They will
but eventually
you because of the emotion, and they'll try to take it away from the message of what you're really saying, because I think you said some really important, deep things.
Well, I'm glad I meet your expectation. Okay.
You've exceeded. No, you've exceeded my expectation, because it's like, I've asked a couple people, like, where'd the shortfall come from? How did we go from sugar to shit?
Yeah, exactly. And we know who has done all of this. Okay. All you have to do is look at the State Board of Accounts. It's all right there. You can see where the money is being redirected, who's spending it. Okay. And this is on both sides of the aisle. It's Republican and Democrats. Okay. That's doing this.
And why do you call it virtue signaling though? Why did you call it why do you think Braun's audit is virtue signaling now?
Because here's another one. He has his own not-for-profit set up called HOPE, H-O-P-E. It's an acronym, okay? And he is not allowing us to see who his donors are, okay? There's some hypocrisy there. But literally, the law has said that we as taxpayers cannot look at what was going with the IEDC. We were very vocal about that. Now he's saying, well, let's take a look where the money is being sent. It's kind of like where Diego Morales is going overseas. Where's the money coming from? Okay, it's the same scenario. This is our money. We want to know where it's going. So I think Braun, it's resonating now because he's getting so much feedback now because of I believe it's a mistake by not having them go back into session in regards to do property tax.
To do their job.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem with that is property taxes are in arrears. Even if they fix it now, we're not going to feel anything until 2 years from now. So if they just keep waiting and waiting,
it's going
to be awful. So here's another question for you. So Roche, Roche is right here in Indiana. They have a lot of diagnostic things. Diagnostic. You say potato, I say potato. They have a lot of stuff like that, like billions of dollars worth of stuff. Well, they just got a $60 million tax abatement. So and that's fine. That's fine. It's like NFL teams. If we don't build them a big stadium, they're not going to stay here. If we don't give them these things and those things, these companies are going to move their stuff somewhere else. I get it. I get all that. My thing is well, if we have to give somebody a $60 million tax abatement, maybe the tax is too high. Maybe we make the tax fit so that we don't have to give it all away. And then we, us poor little homeowners, have to pay ours. I'm waiting for my tax abatement right here in Mars Hill. I mean, I'm waiting for my tax abatement. I built a nice Chateau de Mars Hill house here, but do I get an abatement? No. I have to be punished, and my property taxes have gone way up. So
you're saying instead of abatements, we should work with corporations to find something that fits.
Yeah, and I think in general, if you were just to look at, so you got a township here, you need this many dollars. Let's just figure out where we're going to tax it. Let's put it on whatever, but take it off my stinking house. I heard somebody say that, taxes are, user taxes and those type of taxes are,
like the
fine
Newport
because
tax?
you can, what's that?
The Newport tax?
Yeah, the Newport. Yeah. But that's a user tax. This is not. I am forced to pay this or they will come and get my house. Now, I was going to try to be a smart guy and not pay my property taxes and just, wait for him to come try to take my house. But I got to pay 10% penalty. And I don't want to pay him any more than I have to. So, but if everybody would say, hey, I'm not paying mine, come get my house, how long do you think it would take them to get everybody's house? I'm still waiting on my refund from 2021 where I did one of those appeals and I won it because my house wasn't worth all that back then. Won the appeal. Oh, I've still not seen my check because it's 2 years too long. They can't give me a credit. So now we're trying to track down this check I'm supposed to get. So now I think that the person that was digging into this, I think they've quit. So I have no check. I have no check of this money that they owe me. And it's a substantial amount because I was assessed for $300,000, but my house was $60,000 back then. So I'm going to get some cheddar back here. I'm going to get like a couple $1,000s. That's what I'm going to get. But I got to find.
But John,
I got to track them down.
John, think about all the people now. We know this, okay? People on fixed income. There are people down in our area, and I'm sure it's in the rest of the state, that are going to be losing their homes because they're not able to afford their property taxes, okay? And there's no relief in regards to this, and this isn't being negated by our elected officials.
The $300 savings that we're over the years,
right,
is an insult.
Yeah, well, mine was $800. My taxes went up $800, and they reassessed me again. My lovely house in Tiffany, you'll get a kick out of this. They assessed my house here in Mars Hill for $328,000. I talked to somebody in Carmel up by your neck of the woods, and their house was $327,000. So I don't think I'm getting the same luxuries that the Carmel people are getting here in Marcel.
Yeah,
So
but I think sometimes it's a municipal strategy. So, to get as much money as they can just so that they can kind of squander it. When I think about like what your house kind of assessed for, it's probably very high for that area. But they're trying to get all they can at. Wait a minute. Are your neighbors' homes assessing as high as yours?
no. No, I do have a palace here, though. I do have a palace.
No. But your neighbors, they're not assessing as high. What are they?
Oh, I don't know what they're assessed at. I know that houses. I did look up on Zillow, and my house was 287 on Zillow because I think you'll be able to look up there. So but I shouldn't have to appeal every year. And then when you do appeal, it takes some years to get anything back, and then you can't get your money back. So it's like, what's the point? But anyway. So I think that most people, but we had a lady here in Marcel did exactly that, lost her house because it had to move in with her daughter because she couldn't afford the taxes. And a lot of folks have their property taxes escrowed into their mortgages. Mm-hmm. So, that's another problem.
But I think all the revenue from the tolls are really going to help. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's taking a toll on me, Brad. It's taking a toll on me, really. Hey, so, okay, I'm going to go across the top and then I'm going to ask Ken and Cheryl, are you opposed to, say, I-65, I-69, I-70 at the borders? Because, I think there's an argument. You could drive, if you're a truck driver, you could drive across Indiana without stopping for fuel. I mean, there's no free rides here in Indiana. Would you be opposed to putting a toll on those roads at the borders? All right, Tiffany, go first.
At the borders, go ahead, have at it.
All right, Tiffany. Lucy, I know taxation is theft. We don't even need roads.
I don't think we should be inventing new ways for the government to take money from us.
Okay, is that a maybe? So, Brad, what do you think?
I'm against it. I don't want.
You're against it. All right, Ken.
We already pay the fuel tax. They should be staying within the confines of the taxation, and it's unconstitutional. So I have a problem with it.
I agree. I'm against it too. I think they suck the life out of us now with taxes, and I'm done with taxes. So this is like another form of a tax.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah. I would be more in favor of it if they could even run the toll roads that they had. If you remember, they sold the I-80. The toll road. And it's like, so what's next? Are we going to own any roads before this? Which wouldn't hurt my feelings if the government would totally get out of it. But whenever they sell things, whoever takes it over generally makes money doing it. So why can't the government do it right? So
my thing too is like, if we're looking for extra revenue, we're not examining legalizing marijuana still.
Yeah. How about we just jack up the sales tax to 10 cents?
That's what I said.
Yeah, we agree with that.
If you want to buy it.
Hey, what do you think, Tiffany? Just make it 10 cents sales tax.
10 cents on what?
On everything. On all your
10%?
10%.
10%?
It's 7 now or 8, 7, 8, 9 now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like right Lucy, how much do we pay in taxes? Like per dollar, are we putting out what, 40, 50 cents?
At least 40, 50%.
I didn't even want to.
So can I say something really fast? I want to talk to all of you that are still getting a W-2 from an employer and talk to you about the idea of starting a home-based business. I don't even care if it's multi-level marketing, or lawn care. Do something to where you are self-employed, because right now,
amen.
This is where you get your tax write-offs from. So, and you make your life and you live your life in a tax-deductible way. So when you earn money from a regular job and you get a W-2, you're taxed at the highest rates. You earn that dollar, and then the government takes 30% from you almost immediately. You go spend that 70 cents that's left on gasoline, and another 21 cents is gone. And so you're literally having 40, 50% of your money go away. If you flip that upside down and you live the way, like I've got my landscaping business. So when I drive places, I make sure that I'm driving and I have a business purpose as well. So if I get $1 and I earn it, I get to spend that dollar first. So if I buy 70 cents worth of gasoline, now I'm only taxed on the 30 cents that's left.
Yeah.
So for can I say something really fast? I want to talk to all of you that are still getting a W-2 from an employer and talk to you about the idea of starting a home-based business. I don't even care if it's multi-level marketing, or lawn care. Do something to where you are self-employed, because right now, I
Yeah. Why do you think dealers use the dealer plates for themselves?
Yes,
They cost
absolutely.
more.
So
They cost more, but they can write it off.
Yeah,
So,
or the
You're
illegals
right, Lucy.
too. The illegals with all the license
Well,
plates.
I'll give you one
Mm.
better.
oh, I know, but hey, what? They can't friggin' arrest anybody for smoking weed in Marion County. You think they're going to go after the license plate dealers? Heck no. And plus, aren't they all in the pocket of Diego Morales? Didn't they all donate to him? So hey, it all goes around and around and around. So Brad, what do you say about the 10 cents on the tax? Think that's a good deal? I mean, Lucy, I'd like to ask Lucy. I'm going to skip
I
right
don't-
over there because that's
No,
insulting
I feel
her.
like you can tax individual things more than like a blanket 10% tax. I think a blanket 10% tax is going to hurt. Like,
It's going to hurt poor people.
It's
yes.
going to hurt everybody. I mean,
But
But
then
I mean,
we're all
like,
going to
especially
realize that
that.
we're all poor.
And I think the disconnect again between what people imagine people on benefits living like versus how they do live. You know, like I think we argued last week or the week before about whether or not sugar-based items should be allowed to be purchased through SNAP, or wasn't that just passed by like the? It's like, they can still buy a Kool-Aid packet and some sugar and make a bunch of So like,
make
what,
their own
what are you
sugar.
trying to do? You're just trying to like
They're trying to
control what
humiliate
they do.
people.
And it, I don't agree with that.
So
it was candy and soft drinks is what it was.
Yeah, well, that was like remember Bloomberg wanted to do the sugar tax on the drinks. That
Well, it's interesting. My daughter and I, we volunteered at the Wheeler Mission for Children and Women years ago. And what I thought was really interesting was that there was no milk in the facility. All the kids were drinking those jugs. They come in like green and orange and red. I think those are the official flavors: green, orange, red. And I thought it was really interesting that there was no milk. And I'm like, wow, even from very, very early, certain kids in certain populations, they're set up to fail because they're not getting the nourishment that they need. Hey, go ahead, take sugary things off of SNAP and EBT. And in the long run, it's better for a lot of those kids. I mean, they need to be eating better food. They need to be eating healthier things. So they're still going to
get the Mountain Dew, Pringles, and Twinkies. That's the diet of Mars Hill.
Well, obviously, the reason that people with SNAP have been able to historically buy those items is because A, it feeds the sickness industry, and B, it underwrites, the entire processed food industry. So I'm appalled. I always take my kids, they love carne asada. We go to Trader Joe's. I don't know what it is, like $15, $14 a pound now. And when they hold up a bag of Lay's potato chips, I point out to them that the Lay's potato chips are more expensive than carne asada. The ultra processed foods are always more expensive. They have less nutritional value. So why we as taxpayers are supporting poor health and poorer health, the poorer you are, is insane to me. There's a
but they
skills
taste
gap
good.
in cooking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Brad.
Well, they're made in a factory. I mean, no, they're made in a lab. So I had some Doritos last week. I made like the salad that you make. It's like a taco salad with the Doritos. Blah blah blah. Oh my gosh! I couldn't just have a serving of Doritos. Whatever artificial chemicals they're putting on Doritos nowadays, it's not what they used in the 80s.
Was it the late night taco one? Because that one's delicious.
No, they were just regular tacos. It was like a bell was ringing in my head. It was like, and I just
can I tell you that
more and more.
That's a real thing. It's called the bliss factor. And Ken and Cheryl probably already know this as well. If you read the book Salt, Sugar, Fat, it explains how food scientists literally get the exact right ratio between salt, sugar, and fat that you reach a level of satiety that they literally say is bliss. It's addictive. And then you add in things like monosodium glutamate, or you hide it in 17 to 25 other different names. And it's literally an excitotoxin. Your brain gets addicted to the MSG and the various forms of MSG. And all it does is make your little neurons vibrate until they explode and die, which is why people like me get migraines from it.
Well, I don't get migraines. I'm telling you, like chili cheese Fritos. Oh my goodness.
They make you do a little happy dance.
Yeah. What's funny is I smell that stuff and I want to vomit because I don't eat that stuff at all. But the one thing that I do think is really good recently is the Taki knockoff that they have at Trader Joe's. My kids love those. I can eat a few of those. And, as far as ingredients go, they're not that bad. They still have seed oils, but What are you going to do?
So what's the deal? Hold on real quick. What's the seed oils? What's the I mean, I hear all this seed oil stuff. What's the deal with that?
Soybean, cottonseed. Well, the problem is that your body can't process it. And it's not just that your body can't process it. I mean, think in real life, if you went out and you got a bushel full of soybeans, you're not going to eat a bushel full of soybeans to get the amount of soybean oil that's in it. But that's not even the worst thing. It's the deodorizing, it's the bleaching of the chemicals. I think the documentary is called King Corn, where the guy that does the documentary, he buys like an acre and he learns to process, what happens when you process corn into corn syrup, just as an example. And it's like mercury and hexane, and you would not believe the residuals of those things that get in there.
So
I mean,
it's corn
it's
meth,
absolutely
in other words, basically. So
yeah, it really is. And people don't understand why glyphosate is so bad. Glyphosate interrupts the shikimate pathway, which is how plants uptake magnesium. Plants are green because they have magnesium at the center of their cells. We have iron at the center of our cells, which is why our blood is red. But when they said glyphosate can't possibly hurt anybody because it disrupts the shikimate pathway, that's how it kills the weeds. That's why your Roundup Ready, corn and soybeans, that doesn't affect them. They can still uptake the magnesium. But here's the problem. You have trillions of cells that you're in a symbiotic relationship in your gut that produce your serotonin and your other neurotransmitters and your dopamine and your melatonin. And if that gut-brain connection isn't working because you've killed the shikimate pathway at all of those non-mammal cells, there's where you get nonverbal autism from.
dang, I sprayed a bunch of weeds this weekend too.
Did you put
Go
glyphosate
back,
or
Lucy.
dicamba
I
in
don't
your
know
yard?
what kind of
Lucy,
was.
go back.
Yeah.
Nonverbal autism, it comes from
Yes.
where?
One of the things that it comes from is from the glyphosate because it disrupts you. Okay, so if you have any friends that have children that are severely on the spectrum, especially if they're nonverbal and they have multiple dirty diapers a day, it's because their gut is messed up. When you don't have the right gut bacteria, your gut is not producing the B vitamins, it's not working with your brain to produce the serotonin, the melatonin. So you get dysbiosis of your gut biome, and then you get dysregulation of your mental faculties. I mean, think about what would happen if your dopamine, your serotonin, your melatonin all went completely crazy because, you had SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I mean, let's go back to, and I hate to even say this, Andy, who is the doctor that Andrew Wakefield. I've met him in person. He's Andy. So Dr. Wakefield was the gastroenterologist in England that everybody says there was that one guy in England, and that's why nobody wants to vaccinate their kids because he faked that one study. Well, I can go very deeply into that, but the very short version of that story is he was a gastroenterologist. Families who had kids that were experiencing gut problems came to him and said, "Hey, our kids are having 14 diarrhea diapers a day. Can you help us?" It just so happened that they had autism. And Dr. Wakefield was like, "No, I don't do anything with autism." Like, "We don't care. We just need your help with the gut. We're trying to figure this out." So he did a very small paper. I think there were 12 or 14 subjects. And what they found is that vaccine type measles was still in the gut of these children years and years and years after they've been vaccinated with the MMR vaccine. So as Dr. Wakefield worked with these children to kill the virus in their colons, then they came back to normal stools. And as they came back to normal stools, a lot of them regained their speech. So something like 8 out of 12 kids, they anti-regress. So they were able to move forward. So the regression they'd experienced, the going from having words to not having words, actually reversed. So now these kids were having normal stools and they regained their speech. Now, the reason that Andy Wakefield was so vilified is because Merck has a patent on the MMR vaccine. So this is where it all happens. So you guys understand. Right now, Merck is so far ahead because they have the government contracts to buy the MMR vaccine. Now, there's a separate whistleblower lawsuit about the effectiveness of that because of the mumps component and how they spiked samples of the mumps component of the vaccine with rabbit antibodies in order to have the high enough antibodies so that it would be considered effective and the government would buy it according to the contract. But that's another whole issue. That's still ongoing.
That's a rabbit hole.
It is indeed a rabbit hole. So the reason that Andy Wakefield was vilified was because he said, look, we have this small, it wasn't even a study. It was just like a paper. I mean, there's a dozen kids in it. He said, but the commonality is that they all had vaccine type measles, not wild measles. They had vaccine type measles that had taken up residence in their gut. And until they were able to kill that virus and get it out of their colons, the kids couldn't work well. So he simply said this. He said, why don't we just split these up? Why don't we have an M vaccine for measles, an M vaccine for mumps, and an R vaccine for rubella? And that way, if we vaccinate separately, then we'll be able to determine if one of these components is more of a problem than the other. Here's the problem with that. All the government contracts and the patents were based on the 3-in-1 vaccine. And so Merck was far ahead of the competition. If you reset the marketing playing field, and now all of a sudden everybody has a race to produce a measles, a mumps, and a rubella, then you've got the opportunity to gain market share. This is the reason why Dr. Wakefield was vilified. It was because he suggested something that would have allowed other companies to be in competition with Merck. And, Merck has no problem with killing tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. They did it with Vioxx.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to move now after that dissertation because they'll be knocking on your door. And by the way, she lives, if you're listening, Merck people, she lives up north.
This is yours, Lucy. This is going to be your Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, your Spirit Airlines.
Well, I have no love for Merck. The only thing that they ever did that was good is the Merck manual that I have. It's a great thing for symptoms and diagnosing, especially if you want to help your family at home.
Yeah, and they made that boat motor too. That they make a really nice boat motor. Mercury motor. Have you ever seen?
Oh,
never mind.
No, I didn't get the joke.
Brad didn't laugh. He didn't laugh at the rabbit hole.
Well, no. I wanted to ask. Can I ask?
Yeah, let's ask. Let's get back on topic. I mean, that was a very interesting rabbit hole we went on there. But go ahead, Brad.
Well, yeah. How's the Democrat Party down there?
Well, one of them got arrested. One got arrested, a city council person that is sitting there illegally, and their own Democrat representative took them out. Okay, they got charges because they're sitting there in that position because they didn't meet the occupancy. They had to live in a certain district for a certain amount of time. And she's an attorney. Okay, she knew this, and we knew that she was living up next to Vanetta Becker in a different part of the county, but yet on her document she showed she lived in a certain ward.
Right.
So, they're very lively in the Democrat Party down here too. They don't deal with their problems either. Okay.
Awesome. All right.
It's good to equal opportunity. Well, they don't do that in Marion County. The trustee, they said he lived down the street from me, but no, that was his estranged wife, and he thought living means, I pay the insurance and I pick up my mail there. That is the definition of living in Marion County. Mm-hmm. So, but he lived in Canby, but they finally got him because he was stealing from the Fireman's Fund or something. So,
I have a question. I don't know. May I?
Oh, yes. You can ask
down here in Evansville, I was curious about how much the property taxes were being paid by our representative, specifically by Tim O'Brien. Okay. But when you look him up down here, his property has been redacted, and we found out that it was at his request. Okay, so we pulled all of the campaign finance and found out where the address was. Okay, and so then we hovered over top of the house and we found out how much he was paying. So his property tax increase was only $2.19. So that was kind of interesting.
From what amount to what amount?
What's that?
What amount to what amount?
It increased by $219. He's a realtor by trade, okay? And I think the dollar amount was approximately $800, okay? And so anyway, that's his property. I guess I don't know why he has it redacted. It makes no sense, but we validated that. So do you have that same problem up in the rest of the state?
I think that the city hates me for sure.
Do you mean like where politicians or like the people in office get lower property tax raises, or if any property tax raises,
or they redact it where you can't see where they live or own maybe multiple properties?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's
they do that in Madison County. I know.
Do they?
I think that's pretty standard everywhere.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we found one too that actually had their home set up as a not-for-profit, and they were paying 0 property tax.
Wasn't that just on Woody's show?
Shady.
Like, how is that? Yeah.
That's a great idea. I think my Chateau de Marseille. Hey guys, are we making a profit on the show? No, that means we're nonprofit.
That's right. I gave you an idea, didn't I? Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Tiffany, what the hell are you drinking?
That means we're unprofitable.
Hey, John.
I'm drinking
John,
Hi-Yo. It's my non-alcoholic tonic.
Okay.
Try it again.
John,
Yes, yes.
I
Cheryl.
I am a proponent also for sales tax, because if you want to buy it, that's your, if you want to buy it, buy it. If I don't want to buy it, I won't. And
All right,
so
now-
I don't care how high the sales tax goes, if it would keep us from having to pay any
Well, and
property tax
I think
whatsoever.
one
Because
of
they
the
haven't tried to put sales tax on food,
one of the one
Well,
of
it's already there anyway.
like
Yeah.
on groceries, though.
Well, hot food.
So one of the things they proposed to help with this property tax was to tax services. Well, I'm a contractor, and I would, my masonry contracting is a service, so I would be getting taxed for that. So I'm all for. I'll pay my little $4,200 a year compared to it will cost me about $30,000 a year
Oh,
in
wow.
taxes. Yeah.
Well,
if-
another travesty is you pay into your Social Security your whole life, and then when you collect it, you pay taxes on it again.
yeah.
That's another travesty. That's
and
why I
that-
like Trump's
And
no
that
tax.
401k scam thing, you got to pay taxes on that too. It's still,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta move it.
you know,
So, Cheryl, this is what I'm thinking. I too am a realtor, and I think there should be no tax on tips, and I should work for tips. Forget a commission.
yeah, that,
Let's give
can't
me
wait to
a
work
Well, there
around
shouldn't be
this.
taxes on tips or Social Security.
Right,
Period.
right.
Okay, so
Our
I work for tips.
I'm going to go in a totally different direction right here, and it might throw a lot of people off, especially lawmakers and especially people that run the state. Why the heck can't we cut some spending? I mean, to me, that makes the most sense of anything.
That's
Why
that's
do
a
you
they
problem
need
in
to
Washington
spend your
right
money.
now.
Why does the
Why does
attorney
it
general
stop?
need 400 lawyers? Why does the attorney general need 400 lawyers? Somebody
Because he
answer
always
that,
puts
please.
his foot in his mouth. He's always on freaking Fox News
Yeah,
getting re-sued
wait,
by
Brad.
somebody.
No. These are lawyers for the state, not just for Todd. Todd needs 600 lawyers.
Yeah,
for
but
some of the
that's
stuff
what
he
I'm
said.
talking about. Like that isn't that all on us? That's all on our.
Well, and
Time, right?
they're in charge of licensures and all that. But if you're a Milton Friedman fan, he wasn't a big proponent of licensures. And why should I need a licensure? Shouldn't the free market take care of people that are bad? We got malpractice. We got all these other things you can do to somebody. Well, how
I shouldn't have to die to prove that you shouldn't be a doctor because you don't have a license.
Now,
I think the cost
No,
would
dude,
outweigh
I
the
still think-
benefit.
Come on,
Hey.
doctors, like you're putting your life in their hands, and there's got to be like a you know better than me. Kind
Okay,
of
how about a
mentality.
realtor license? What do you need that for? Anybody can sell
Well,
a
you
house.
lose a couple $1,000s, and then you'll be like, I need somebody who knows
Wow,
what
I
they're
think-
doing.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't do
I'm
trial
with
and
you on
error
that one.
there.
Yeah, there's
I-
always experts
Okay,
in like a field.
I get Brad. He's a Democrat. He wants to license everything. He probably makes you check out books in his
I
library.
mean,
but he doesn't
licensure.
trust-
I
Yeah.
mean, is there a difference between licensure and credentialing? I mean, you want somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you could just
Do we even
credential
trust the
them. How about
experts
that?
anymore, Tiffany?
Pardon me?
Do
No.
we trust No, we don't. So
No.
what?
So my dad got called into the ER yesterday because his blood work came back, and they said that his potassium was really high, his sodium was really high, his sugar was 41, and that he needed to go to the emergency room immediately. So my sister takes him there. He almost has a stroke in the car because he's so nervous. My sister almost has a heart attack because she's nervous. Do you know what the experts found out? It was
That
somebody
he-
else's blood work.
Hey, that's not
So
as
yes,
bad.
I think everybody should be challenged.
Yeah, so they had a license. So what good did that license do? So my father-in-law, he had prostate biopsy. I don't know if anybody's ever had one of those things, but that's where they go with the needle and
They go get some.
and they lost the results and he had to go back and get another one. So that was
You only had to pay once, though, right? Like
I don't know. I can't remember.
Buy one, get
No,
one
we had to
free?
pay twice because it hurt twice.
Well, we have a story for you about a license, okay?
Okay.
You would think that the school corporation would require their teachers to be licensed. Here in Evansville, there was a teacher at North High School specifically, was having sex with his students, okay? Not licensed at all. In fact, we looked it up too. So in that example, we should have had a license in place to protect, to make sure that teacher had the credentials, and he did not.
No. He did not.
Wow. Well, I would say that I think that there's licensed and non-licensed people. I guess we get a false sense of security for somebody that says I'm a licensor. They got a bunch of letters behind their name, like Lucy up there. She's got some letters back there. She's licensed in finding out things.
I believe Lucy's letters, though.
Yeah, it's like, but but think about it. If you put a doctor in front, I think a lot of people think that Jill Biden's a doctor, and I don't. I mean, she's a doctor. She's got the credential for that.
Or if you have an R behind your name, that you're a Republican, okay? And that's not the case.
That R can stand for something else.
Ooh, that was a good jab. I like that.
Yes,
one.
that was great.
Keep it up.
Well, I mean it. It's. I'm speaking truth, okay?
No, you
we
are
have
speaking
experience.
truth. You are speaking truth. I listened to you guys talk, and it just hurts my heart that you're disenfranchised from the party, that you pushed back, and that your criticism was too much. I mean, that's sad, and two, that just it's just foreshadowing for other people too. It's like, wow, if you challenge the status quo, this could happen to you, but it shouldn't be like that. That's the part that's really disheartening, is that you're a grown-ass adult. Why can't you say what you want to say?
Yeah.
Well, the precinct committeeman, that's what got him, because last time they had their vote for the county chair, the vote was 40 to 47. So they just worked with a small amount of people because everybody was blind to what was going on. And so then the PC project came up, and we recruited almost 100. I know you did more there in Marion, but
right,
larger. But Cheryl, when you talk to PCs who've been appointed, and then you kind of lift the veil of ignorance, and you're like, hey, you know why you're appointed, and that you really can't vote what you think.
And appointed, they can jerk them around, they can kick them out, but if you're elected, they cannot.
Yeah, I know, but you're appointed PCs. I think that they feel rather used when that happens.
Well, they are used. They were handpicked to be appointed because they're going to capitulate and say exactly what the county chairman wants them to vote on.
They appoint them to vote the county chair in. That's their only job.
Right.
That's what we had here. They appointed 300 people, and our county chairman appointed 10 of his family members. Now, I don't know about you, but hold on. I got breaking news here. Breaking news. All those that were watching the Pacer game, guess what? Pacers win 114-105. And yes, I did pick them to win tonight, so that's good for my little DraftKings. I bet a nickel 59 on that game, and now I'm up to 2 nickels and 59. So that's a good thing. But yeah, that's and how many people get just disheartened about that? I think it's just sort of designed to make you quit, but I don't get why you want to make your people quit. Brad, you're in the Democrat Party. Why do they make David Hogg quit today? Why did they make him quit?
They want to make the people who stir the pot quit. This is why we're all sitting around and like, I feel like I'm amongst friends. I never feel like out of the loop with you guys. I really feel like we are all of the people who are just fed up with where we are right now, and we want a politician to just listen to us and respond and react, and that is nowhere in local, state, or federal.
Yeah, I think Spiro hits it right on the head. One of our loyal viewers, control. It's all about the control, and if you and it's like old George Carlin said, it's a club and we ain't in it.
John, we were such a threat that they didn't just label us as Republicans in bad standing. They censored us. First time ever, they said, in Indiana, which means we can't run for an office for 8
years.
So that's
what the hell? Like, wait, even if you guys move like counties,
dude, you got like ankle monitors on?
Well, no, we don't have that.
Oh, well, let me tell you this: the night that they kicked us out, they had how many sheriffs?
Yeah, there was sheriff. I don't know, 3 or 4.
3 or 4 sheriffs.
What? Man, I feel like we're not trying hard enough up here.
I think you're right. Okay,
dude. Hey, do y'all have Wi-Fi in your county?
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Not anymore. They canceled the Digital
It's not
Equity
Haiti,
Act.
Tiffany. It's not Haiti. This is Evansville area.
Right.
Damn. But why that much for you? I mean,
we
I'm
were
not
a
afraid
threat.
of you
We exposed these people down here. The hypocrisy. We feel good about it. We are God-driven. Understand that, okay?
And Brenda Goff, that works, she's the 8th district chair.
It works under Mark Mesmer.
Yeah.
He lied to us too. He gets APAC money, but anyway.
And all the other ones before that.
Yeah, thank you. Right.
Okay, so I've known her my whole life.
That's crazy. Well, so let's
You
pan
guys
out a little
seem so
bit.
non-threatening.
Yeah, well, let's pan
only
out.
the fact that we want to be true Republicans.
Right. We follow the platform.
wanna
We're
get rid of the-
conservatives, you know.
Yeah.
So
We're more
let's
than they are.
let's back up. Let's back up to the entire state, because I hear this from a lot of people. I know Madison County, Vermilion County, Fountain County. We have some in Marion County. There's a lot of people up in Lafayette. There's a lot of people. So where do you think there's going to be critical mass? I mean, do you think that there's going to be enough people that are going to get organized? Or do you think they're going to get organized? Because you see these little groups here and there. But do you think they're going to get organized?
Definitely think we're going to get organized.
We have a plan, okay? And we can't show our hand at this point.
I can't. Look, there's my hands.
There you go. But it does resonate. We hear the state. It's happening everywhere. The Republican Party has disfranchised and lost its way, just like the Democrat Party. Okay, same thing. So we recognize this, and we're going to gather the troops. Okay, let's just say it that way.
So yeah, Yvonne says Boone's involved too. So I just think that.
But that's it. Is it bringing in new voters, or is the answer to change the minds of the voters who are already involved?
Well,
like that's kind of like, I mean,
yeah,
well, you got to figure out who's the real Republican, who isn't.
Right, and we know that. That's what we're reaching out to all these different counties to identify the true conservative versus these fake Republicans, like Todd Young as an example. Okay, there's one there.
Let's talk with our
Lucy
new
knows
county.
him personally.
Oh, see, I love Todd Young. Of course you.
Of course you would.
He said he's a Democrat.
We see his
Brad,
record.
you're cracking me up.
Well,
And by the way, I hate Jim Banks.
our new Central Committee.
Hey, Brad, he doesn't like me either. So,
Hey, Brad, you should say it enough and have a meeting, and he'll bring you donuts.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You can see.
oh man, you guys are killing me. So, we're to that time. It's to the time of the end of the hour. We do the conspiracy theory. Now I'm hoping that Cheryl, this is your first time I've talked to you or anything. I know Ken, he's been on the show Conspiracy Theories. So I actually have a tinfoil hat. My panel, they don't get paid enough to have a tinfoil hat, but they'll have something. But we're gonna do it since you can't run for anything for 8 years. So we usually let somebody running for something off the hook on the tinfoil, because you just don't want to see them on a commercial with a tinfoil hat. That's not good for your campaign. But since you guys can't run for 8 years, they'll forget about this show by then. So you're gonna come up with it. So let me play the.
John, you're always making lemonade.
Yeah, I know it. I'm an optimist. Even at age 64, they haven't beat it out of me yet. I'm still think that there's good in this world. It's terrible. So, but anyway, here you go. I got a little clip. Maybe you haven't seen this before, but I know you guys on top have a bunch. But this gives me time to get my tinfoil hat on. So here you go.
Hey y'all, it's time for the conspiracy theory. So you better get your tinfoil hat out and let's see what's going on this week.
What were you going to say, Tiffany, before I cut you off?
I was going to say put the teeth in.
Oh, I got them right here. Hey, y'all.
Democrat.
Yep. Oh no, I'm a hillbilly. Live here in the Mars Hill. Those are funny teeth. One time I was first started dating Lisa, and her daughters had come over, and they were all having a little girls thing. They were making pot holders or whatever girls do at those little meetings. And so I put those teeth in, and I walked through there. And I said, how you ladies doing? And I think a couple of them thought it was a couple of her friends never knew me or whatever. It's like, man, Lisa, did you see his teeth? Oh, that's funny. They thought they were my real teeth.
That's well played. That's like
bobs.
I went to a dear friend's father's funeral, and it was in a very small town in Illinois. And I think there was like maybe less than 1,000 people in the city. And so when we got to the funeral home, the idea was to go drive, be there just a couple minutes, go through the receiving line and leave. But we go in to the room, and you could see the coffin from where we were at the front door. But when you look to the right, there was this line that snaked around the building. It was like a Disney line. So we got in the Disney line, And at that time, I was the only brown woman in the city, probably the county. I just went with it because it happened. And maybe one issue was I chose a nice outfit for the reception. It was what I had worn to my mom's funeral. It was a black jumpsuit, very nice, but I had on my Kate Spade coat. Now, this coat is lilac, but it has silver tinsel in it. So it's a little flashy. So to set the stage, I'm dressed appropriately for Indy, not so much for small town Illinois, in this room with 900 people in it from the city to be at my friend's funerals, my friend's dad's funeral. And then all of the ladies had on long skirts with all this long hair pulled up, and they had like things in their hair. So I was like, this is different. So we're going through the line and people are, they're whispering. I figured they were talking about me. I was like, because I really kind of didn't fit in. And one regret that I have is that I didn't say to my friend who was accompanying me, I sure am going to miss my daddy. He used to come see me all the time. We would just have a little bit of time together, but he sure was a good daddy, and I'm going to miss him so much. Because it would have gone through that room, that city. Oh, my God.
Here comes the nomad. It just back
exactly.
You know,
so if you have a chance to make a good joke, go for it.
So that's your conspiracy theory. Well, and I do have a reputation for being silly. So, but that's okay. I think it's funny. I see some of my friends, if I don't see them for a while, as soon as they see me, they start laughing before I even say anything, which is, sort of bad. So we'll let our guests go first. If you have said conspiracies of these theories that you like to spread, this is the place to start them. This is where they start, and this is where they end, right, Lucy?
You go first.
Okay. One of the conspiracy theories I heard from the beginning was that ivermectin was for horses, and I told my girlfriend, who's a nurse, I said I didn't go to the veterinarian to get my ivermectin. At that time, I got it at CVS before they cut it off, But my daughter has a shirt that says all of her conspiracy theories has come true.
True, yeah.
Oh, that's Lucy conspiracy fact. I mean,
the other one is the other one would be if you wear a mask. That's going to protect you.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, that's Brad. Brad just wears that because he's too lazy to put a tinfoil hat. Brad, you actually should put that on your head and then the ear under the ear.
It makes so many people mad.
Brad's got cats, so
Yeah, it's for my allergies. It's too much dander in the air.
Oh man!
So wait a minute. So you can buy ivermectin at CVS?
We did.
Used to be able to.
Yes.
What was it? What was the brand name, and what was it for?
What's it for? You don't know about ivermectin?
No.
You need to give me a call.
That's right.
It gets parasites out of your body because our bodies are full of parasites.
That's right.
So where would they have kept it? Like near the laxatives?
It's been around for 60 years.
Yes. Where would they have kept it in CVS? Did you have to have a prescription or was it on the shelf?
Yes, you had to have a prescription. My doctor would write a prescription, but then they quit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Fauci got that shut off. So now you get it someplace else. So.
Yeah, they got
it wasn't over the counter though. You couldn't go. It wasn't like next.
No, you had to have a prescription at the time. That is correct.
Yeah,
but
you can take the one that's for horses though. You can take that one.
Yes,
and do it by weight. So
it's a paste. It doesn't taste very good, but yeah.
Well, that they've got us conditioned.
Put it on a
medicines
medicines
has to
get
kill
a Tractor
you.
Supply.
Yeah,
that's it. Wilbur.
Yeah, that's why are you pounding your foot when you count, Wilbur?
That's right.
One, a two. Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. I didn't get COVID, and I've never been sick since.
Me neither. Right.
And you can run really fast.
Yeah. He was third at the Derby.
Oh my God.
They call you Bullet.
He has to have his teeth floated. Only people that own horses would understand that.
I guess the other one that Biden was really elected as president. That's a conspiracy theory.
It is, yeah.
Hey, what do you think about like those skin suits? Do you think there were multiple Bidens in skin suits, or that was the same guy all the time?
Man, that's big in the deep one.
I especially loved it when Biden grew 6 inches in one day.
Yes.
You know, if you're
He went
going
to
to have a body double, at least make them like, you know,
he
a
went to
body
the
double.
Hey Lucy, he went to the Todd Young How to Get Taller instead.
Oh my gosh.
Because
What a
sometimes
train wreck.
Biden would look frail, and sometimes he just seems so spry.
Yeah, it was just like Hillary Clinton. They all have. I mean, think of how many people were making a living just being impersonators, right? You know, you could like buy a Hillary Clinton impersonator to be at your party. And so the ones that were really good and, you know, physically close to her, of course, they could have been approached and have been used.
So Lucy, wasn't your great grandpa a body double for Brigham Young? Talking about it.
Yes.
See, look how we brought this all the way around.
Yeah, back in the 1800s.
So Ken and Cheryl, this is very interesting. So my wife Lisa is a survivor of the Mountain Meadow Massacre that happened in 1857 when a rich wagon train moved from Arkansas, Missouri across Utah going to California, and the Brigham Young people murdered them dressed up like Indians. So the funny thing is, like, Lisa's like, there was only like, I think 17 kids. Her great grandma was a descendant in that was actually involved in that. And Lucy's great grandpa was a body double for the other side. And yet here we are, friends. In that, if that could happen, then it makes, you know,
yeah,
make
a lot of
send me a Lucy over to Russia and Ukraine. We'll end this war tomorrow.
a lot of spiritual
You
bondage.
gotta get your
a lot of
family
spiritual
trees
bondage
out.
in the Mormon
And
church.
we'll ivermectin all the way around. Yeah, it's more like a family totem pole. But anyway, so
I take it regularly. So
Ken, you got a conspiracy, or do you let Cheryl take them all?
we got a lot.
No,
We
we
got
got
a
a
list
bunch
of
of them.
10.
Yeah, you kidding me? Yes.
All right, well,
How
give
about
us your
the
best shot
obvious
there,
one?
pal.
How about
Give
the
us your
obvious
best
one where Michelle Obama is a man? How about that one? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mike.
Big Mike. Yeah, Big Mike. Yeah, hello. What? Yeah.
I heard they're splitting up. I heard they're splitting up. They're, you know.
Right. Not
That's
even
what
her,
happens.
it's not even their children. Come on, you know, you just do the
Now
research.
that one sort of is
Or how about
interesting.
him being born in the United States?
Oh yeah, not being a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are done.
Okay.
All right, Lucy, go. Lucy.
You ask.
You asked.
There are.
I know. Hey, I thought you'd be lucky to come up with one. I think you could go another hour here.
We
on this.
can. Yep.
I think they got a list.
Yeah, they got a list. It's all there. So, Lucy, what do you got for me?
Well, I mean, there's a dozen of them in my head. Which one should I bring to the forefront?
What's that? Chemtrails.
I've got a friend here. She doesn't make a lot of her stuff public, so I won't say her name. But she was at her kid's soccer match, and the chemtrails were so bad. So she took a picture of them with her camera, and then you know how you can mark up pictures and do your little highlights and pens and stuff. So she started playing tic-tac-toe, and the lines were the chemtrails. So yeah, so when she showed that, I just had to laugh.
That's why Brad's wearing a mask, because of the chemtrails. So
That too.
Well,
I mean, you can't be too safe. And these
let's-
masks
yeah.
are impenetrable.
yeah, you can't even nothing
You
gets
can't get
through.
anything
Yeah.
through them, guys.
But
It's
from
like-
common sense.
Yeah, no
But I'm
common sense gets through there.
It's just
And
like
you're on
Rachel
it.
Maddow said, you get that vaccine and it stops dead. That's what she said. But
You stop dead, I
so-
think is what she meant to say.
It
It stops you dead.
Something. It's somebody's dead from it. I don't know. It's something.
So anyway, I'll just say it. Taxation's is theft. Vaccine, yeah, vaccines
Lucy,
cause
you've made that famous on our show.
vaccines
It's like
cause
day one.
autism. Vaccines cause autism.
Yep,
Vaccines.
I agree.
We
I
agree.
give
Yeah.
a shout out to my Hoosier adults on the spectrum. So this week we're going to Big Woods. We have this month. Every month we get together. So I'm ADHD or autism. You can whatever you want to call it. So ADHD meets autism. It should be a reality show. It's funny. So I'm going to bring up the thing about the gut thing and see what they think. But it's funny. We have. It is very entertaining. So we're going to Big Woods, and then we're going to go see Lisa's shop there on Main Street. She got a little shop open. And we're going to have ice cream. And then next month we're having a cookout. Tiffany helped sponsor this cookout. up at Cox Hall Gardens. So you should come up for that.
Oh, Cox Hall Gardens is so gorgeous.
Yeah, well, my company did the masonry work at the Cox Hall
Nice.
Gardens Children's Pavilion. So we are going to have our little cookout up there, and you should see these guys planning for that. It's like it's like planning for a NATO meeting or something. It's fun. It's fun. So Brad, I want to go to you next because I heard that you got a Pope that's a Sox fan. Is that?
He was a
what I'm
White
hearing?
Sox fan, and actually, I got this sweater. I went to the White Sox game this weekend. I took my mom and dad for Mother's Day, and
Oh, that's so sweet.
There were 4 popes in the crowd, dressed up. They got the little pope hats on.
I bet the guy behind
So
him.
soon, so soon.
White Sox lost, so I don't know if that even helped at all. So
You got to let them pope for a while, then the poping gets stronger.
Yeah, it does.
Well, but that's I think Chicago is really excited though, just about.
Yeah, I think a lot of Americans. It's sort of we'll see. Everybody comes in all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when we get a new pope, and the last one it broke left a little bit, if you know what I mean. So we'll see.
I know. It's so weird that Jesus would be on like the side of like helping people and doing things for their fellow man.
Now all of a sudden Brad's a big pope. Brad, are you Catholic?
No, I'm Orthodox, or I'm Greek Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox.
So,
That's
yeah.
So okay, well.
So and that whole upbringing led me.
Yeah, explained a lot right there.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I have 2 kind of conspiracy theories. One is just I wanted to talk about when I had what I could only think of as pride for Republicans of our state. The first one was for Todd Young, because it's not all the time that I'm a Todd Young fan. But you know what? January 6th, he was trying to talk everybody down, and he was yelling at people, telling them, "I understand that you're upset, and but doing what you're doing right now is wrong." And he was really trying to like get through to people, which I appreciated. Which leads me into the next one, and I don't even know how to feel about this. On May 4th, Mike Pence was given the JFK presidential or the Profile and Courage Award.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that award is going to stay valid for the next year, because if Trump knows about this, like that whole thing is going away. I feel like he's not going to be a fan of that. Like that whole organization, I feel, has either given out its last award or like they're going to have to battle for funding to do it again. So
that's probably not far off. That's more of a conspiracy fact,
Yes. But in a distant land too, I really hope that he would, kind of renew his vows to the Constitution and know what he is supposed to protect and what he's not supposed to protect, I guess. Because I think he got asked a couple questions if he's supposed to uphold the Constitution, and he said he didn't know. He had to ask his lawyers.
So one of the big hullabaloo today was that he was saluting.
That's
Tiffany,
a
you're
brilliant thing
person.
to say, because he was asked if he was supposed to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah. I mean, like in the
that's an oath. That's the oath of office.
What are the exact? I mean, what are the exact words? I know in the military, it's "I'll support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic." I'm not sure what the oath of office for president is.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Uphold the Constitution of the United States.
It might not be uphold. It might be support, defend, protect. Dude, that Trump, that's sneaky.
Well, he just sort of he shoots from the hip a lot, Brad. He shoots from the hip. You just gotta watch out.
No, the president should not strive towards sneakiness. They should strive towards
no, Brad. My point.
I don't understand how we are.
No, Brad. My point is that if he goes in and he's only thinking about ways to uphold the Constitution, that limits how you can think. And so I feel like Trump is thinking big brain, and you have to have like the Supreme Court rein him in. If he
because Congress has to make the laws.
But think about it, Brad. We've hired him to be the CEO of the United States, and if he's only thinking here, and everybody around him is going to shrink his thought to something that they can handle, We don't need him thinking here. We need him being just out of the box, out of the universe type thinking with ideas so that the system can beat it down to something that the average American can handle. Does that make sense?
I think they're sort of doing that.
Yeah, I think that Republicans, like there are people on the right that are getting weary of what he's trying to dismantle and do.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not just
definitely people are panicking because nobody likes change. I got a question for you.
Well, I mean, change is one thing. I know I hear a lot from the African American community, from the African American veteran community, is what are we doing? Why are we removing information? Why are we removing statues? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? And so I want to believe that we're erasing and moving things that we're putting out in the forefront because of DEI, and that we're going to mold it and fold it into the fabric of our American history. So that's where some people are kind of like, hey, what kind of change and where's this change going?
Yeah.
What's the goal of this change? So change is change, but if you let people in on the vision, then it's easier to sometimes accept the change.
Yeah, explaining the change. One more thing before we go. So, Tiffany, you're a military person. So, the big hullabaloo today was that Trump was saluting all of these military people over there in the Saudi Arabia. Did you see that clip of they'd come up and they were doing their little roll call and he'd salute them, and everybody was saying it's not protocol for the president to salute another army's guy or whatever. So, is that true, false, or what's up with that?
Were they offering a salute to him?
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were.
So typically your lower ranking person salutes the higher ranking person, and it's a show of respect. You can walk down the street, you salute somebody, low rank acknowledging higher rank. So if a military person from if they recognize they are lower ranking and they're giving you a sign of respect, you can.
But what about the reciprocal? What about Trump doing it back to them?
He's not military.
He's acknowledging their sign of respect.
If you told Trump he wasn't military, John, he would fire you from this show.
That's what a salute is.
Have him come get me. I'll show him military.
So.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just saying.
It would have been, no, think about it. It would be twisted the other way if they would say, President Trump was in Saudi Arabia and the Saudi Arabian army passed. And you know what? Not one of those generals, commanders, or troops offered a sign of respect to the president of the United States.
J.D. Vance would be all over that.
Over to you, Brad. What does that mean?
Oh, get out of here with that.
All right. I'm going to give you a salute for goodbye on this show because
I have a conspiracy theory.
Ben and Cheryl, thank you so much.
What? Hold on. We got.
I have a conspiracy theory. Yeah. So this came to me. I was watching a movie and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the future of movies. So this is why in 10 years, we will be going to movies and we will be signing up to go to movies with our friends. And we'll be like, pick a number 1 through 5. Everybody picks a number. And then you go see this crazy movie. It's like The Hangover. It's Mission Impossible. It's Star Wars. It's whatever. Everybody's got a number. You sit down, the movie starts, and then you and your friends and your likenesses, you are cast into the movies. So the movie is no longer about the Hollywood celebrity. It is about you and your friends having these banger times on the large screen, and your likeness is there. So what this does, all of a sudden, it's all about us. There's no more Hollywood.
It's sort of like this show. It's just sort of like this show.
That is actually sounds fun.
It's
doesn't it sound fun?
It does sound kind of fun.
Let's go. We'll do the mouthwash. We'll go to the movie. Mouthwash is on the big screen. Watch out. It's going to be something else. All right. Well, does anybody have anything else?
Can we just acknowledge how good my conspiracy theory was?
Considering you used to only have Bigfoot sightings, you've come a long way, Tiffany. In fact, you're actually thinking about the conspiracy theory on the off time. That's amazing. Lucy, look how far we've come with this.
Lucy, uploading your likeness into a movie on the big screen.
I don't know. I think people would be bored with that. I wouldn't want to see me. I certainly wouldn't want to subject anybody else to that.
Wow. I think you're wrong. Too. I think you're very wrong on that. I think this is something that could happen. So, we got
Our guests, what do you guys think?
we got the.
I thought it was more like you would be in the movie, like almost like VR, kind of like everything would be happening around you. Like
So like I wake
love
up,
that.
I'm Mike Tyson with the face tattoo. Be like, oh my god, I got a tattoo.
Yeah, that part. Like I
Was it
I'm
was
there
it
on that.
Fahrenheit? Was it Fahrenheit 451 where they had the fourth wall and that people would interact with the sitcoms and with the dramas?
Yeah,
Was
I think
that
that's right.
Fahrenheit 451?
Mhm.
And because I remember the wife being completely, like social media entranced, where she would, be giving her lines as if she was part of the show.
Or how about the Truman Show? Remember that one with Jim Carrey?
Hey, it's not the
I love
Truman
that one.
Show; it's the True Man
Show. Oh,
The
okay.
True Man.
True Man,
Yeah.
yeah. And then he tried to figure it out so he could get out of that thing. Okay.
That's the plot. Like, but that's the point of the movie. You can't control the human condition. Like, we'll win.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Well, speaking of control, I'm in charge of this thing, and I say this is over with.
All right,
So-
Janet Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but Jackson, I am for real. Okay, that's enough of that. All right. Hey, Ken,
Yes.
Cheryl, keep up the good fight. I think that we'll be seeing more about you guys. Tell everybody where they can catch you on your shows. How to do it.
Yes, on Rumble, we have to use that platform because we have a YouTube channel, but we keep getting demonetized because of the content. Okay, so Rumble is the platform, and it's the K. Colbert Report, and the name of the show is Republicans in Bad Standing. And so the X account is the same thing. It's the K. Colbert Report, and we're using that as a platform. And we're on TikTok now. We've been getting a lot of engagement on there.
That's where I saw you on a
Yes.
TikTok.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm on the
You
TikTok.
go viral.
Just
Hey,
trying
we're
to
baby boomers too. We're baby boomers.
I know
We're on
it.
TikTok. Figure that out.
I don't. It's just I don't know. Well, I like going on the TikTok. You see all the people that are complaining about the Trump.
You
I
guys
don't
should
know.
start recommending products. Monetize it.
Hey,
Yeah,
I can go on TikTok and complain about Trump.
yeah. You can
Yes,
get a
of
little
course.
group. You can sit there with that group of unemployed people. It seems, and they sit and
Right.
talk about how bad everything
You can
is.
chase
and how
Senator
smart they
Banks
are.
in an elevator too.
I don't want him to call me a clown. I
Oh,
can't come back from that.
They would not. They would spit you out and throw
Why
away
did I
the
lose my
seats.
job? Why did
Yeah,
I
that
lose
would be
my
bad.
job?
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. We've
What
had
did he
enough.
call that guy, a loser?
What's that?
I'm a
What?
clown. Yeah.
Oh, he called him a clown.
Yeah. Our elected officials are wonderful work.
Yeah, they're the best. All right. Yep. Okay. All right. Goodbye. Good night, everybody. Oh, and Ken and Cheryl, we usually stay on afterwards. I usually not tell people that.
Okay.
Brad will Irish goodbye us at some point, sometimes during the show. You just never know. But I'll wind it up and we'll see you on the other side. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. 2 weeks we got Rhonda Miller for Purple with Parents. She's coming on.
John,
And then,
how do you not lead with that? Come on. I would
What's
have been
that?
so much more excited today.
well, there you go. I just wanted to give you something to look forward to.
Oh my
It's gonna be on the 27th.
Brad just
27th.
woke up.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
Look at
This is
that.
gonna be great.
So the 27th, and I think we're gonna.
I'll have Alvin Louis sit in for me, Brad.
Oh, please do. Like Timu wait, who is that? Yeah, he's Timu Andrew Tate. That's who I think he is. He's like a Timu version of Andrew Tate. Like on all accounts.
I did
Physical
need
attributes.
I did need to
mental
get it wound up
acuity.
like this.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Brad. I shouldn't have said anything.
It's
But anyway,
No, I can't wait. Yeah.
thanks
I'll
for
look
watching,
that.
everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Yeah.